'Tis a thing of beauty. I love it. It's a very nice guitar. It's a Crafter, 2003 Crafter, and they're very well made guitars. I'll tell you more about them as we go along. The strings are rattan. The frets are very thin frets. The neck is fairly wide. We'll go through all that as we go along. The frets aren't in awful condition, but we'll look at them more closely. Now, Georgie girl, you're biting me again. Stop biting me. I'm allowed to talk on the camera. Now, Peter Green owned one of these, and if you ever heard of Peter Green, you know, Albatross, Man of the World, oh well. Now, when I talk to God, I know he understands. Anyway, but this is in lovely condition, and it's a beautiful guitar, and it's extremely well made. Peter Green's guitar was white, and this has cream binding. But look at the neck. Beautiful neck, beautiful tuners, and the bodywork is in excellent condition. They've got a little bit of foam there to even protect the bottom, which is a wise thing to do. And look at that back. Ain't that back a beauty? Let me get rid of the light on here. Ain't that back a beauty? Ain't it? Ain't it? And that neck. Georgie girl's biting me. Stop it. Stop it. I don't know why I think it's past time for tea. And she doesn't need tea, but she needs me. Now, I have a feeling that's from a strap. I don't know what's happening, or it's been lying on a bit of foam. I think that'll be easy to clean off, and there's a bit of red there too, and over there. So it's been lying on something, maybe even in the case for a long time. So, but this is a lovely guitar, and I will enjoy bringing it up to fashion. Hopefully I won't find anything wrong with it, but we'll see when we get stuck in. Lovely guitar. And this is the kind of guitar especially made for my favorite chord. Well, back to the Peter Green Crafter 12 string. Now, I looked it up, and Peter Green just recently, not Peter Green, but his estate sold off one of these that he used to own. And it's not this one, by the way. It's got a few little challenges to it, but the first thing I'm going to do is take off the strings. Actually, what I'll do is loosen the... I'll loosen the strings. Right, okay. What some of you may have heard there during that is creaking and groaning, and I think the creaking and groaning comes from this saddle, which has had a lot of wear and tear. Well, forgive me, it's not been cleaned, and if you look closely at the saddle, which I will do here, you'll see there's a lot of there's a lot of dirt, and this was catching and snapping, and these were biting into it, so it was going creak and crook. So I'll have to do something with that. Check to see if the density has changed anything over the last 19, 20, what did I say, it's 23, so the last 21 years. So we'll check that. So I'm going to cut the strings now that I've loosened them. I don't know when the last time those strings were changed, but we're going to need some. They're actually too tight. That actually was stuck in it. So I'll have to make sure they're all the right tightness and clean it up. It's all to do with dirt, I believe. And that saddle, it's nice and tight. But I think we're going to have to use some pencil lead. When I put it back together, I'm going to put some lead from the pencil inside there. That'll lubricate it a bit. Yep. Okay. So do I want to try to lift that out? I'm not sure. I'm only going to have one try at this because I don't want to crack anything. Oh look. Would you say that is the original colour? And the brown above it is not the original colour? I don't know. There's something else in here. They put some shims. Oh, 1, 2, 3 shims. Okay. 3 shims. I'll have to check that whenever I go to do this. Now's the time to look inside. What I've learnt is that if I go inside, I keep the big camera running, I use the sound from it. Let's have a look at this now. Right, okay. Nice clean picture. The serial number 0308, that means 2003 and August 2003, and it's number 2507 of the production line, which may not be 2500, it may be 507. Let's look at the bottom struts, and then we'll look at the top struts. That's a very nicely made guitar. That's a lovely made guitar. You can just tell by the quality of the wood and the carving and everything. We're looking at struts now, and we're looking for any gaps at the bottom of the struts. And the kerfing, a very nice guitar. Peter Green sold his guitar, I think they were looking for £795 for it, which is a bit surprising because you'd think anything associated with him, the Green Manalishi, etc., Albatross, all those things would bring his worth up. But let's look at the top now to see if any of the struts need work. Closer up. No, they all look fine, grand. Let's look at the way they've drilled the pegs, the peg holes. Where are they? Let me just see that sharper. I see some glue work there, but I don't see anything wrong with the struts, which is the main thing. Right, okay, let me get under here and see. Have a good look to see. Go on, get into focus. Right, okay. They all look good. Now, one last thing I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, the truss rod. There it is there. I just want to make sure that it's not damaged in any way. It's not, but why is it in a crooked hole? Oh, it's the camera position on the phone that makes it look crooked. But that looks okay. Because the camera, the hole in the camera is... there's a better idea. Looks okay. Alright, okay. So inside we're happy. We're all happy there. Hey, we're all happy, and you know it, clap your hands. So I'm going to check the fret leveling, because I think I saw some differences with my naked eye, as they say. Yeah, a little bit of fret leveling. And to be honest, I don't care about up there. Nobody will play a 12 string up there. Nobody. But I'm going to give it a little level because there's a few spots there that I need to do. And Georgie girl's chewing away, but I'll just do it while she's chews away. What you doing? Oh, right, okay. Didn't take an awful lot, that. Why have you got your claws into my... No, she wants to play with the strings, but she can't get purchase on the ground, so she got her claws in my leg. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay. Did I check the neck straightness? I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, I think. Well, that looks perfectly straight to me. We'll see what it's like when the strings go on, because there's a lot of pressure with 12 strings. So, take my hat away. And I'm going to wash these frets now. No, I'm not. Lying. I'm lying. I'm going to polish them now. Take these strings off because they're driving me nuts. I've already pricked my fingers on them. I'm sorry now. They have to go. They have to go into the bin. Oh, you want cuddles now after I stole your strings? No, I don't think so. She just didn't like me doing it, so she's jumped up on me. It's not the first time she's like, oh right, she wants cuddles. Alright, okay, pause for cuddles. I'm going to use a bit of sandpaper on this one first before I do the steel wool, because I think there's a couple of those scratches on these that need to be brought down to make them look beautiful. Doesn't take much, just this 1000 grit sandpaper just to bring off some of those scratches. This is made in South Korea, and it was made by a man called Engelmann. I must look up how you pronounce that if I can find it better. Engelmann in 1972. He started building these in the basement of his house, and he wasn't building these guitars, he was building classical guitars, and they were called Sunjium guitars, and they became very well known and liked in South Korea. And then his son came along later in life, 1986. NJ Park is his name, and he thought we could change it some game, because some game guitars were too hard to pronounce, as I just said, and so he renamed it Crafter, and they started making different models, and now they're one of the most modern factories in South Korea. I don't know where they are made in South Korea, but I'll try to find out and post a picture of it. But it's amazing how he started off from a little shop in South Korea, little basement thing, and now it's a 60,000 square foot factory with a leisure centre in it for the and a restaurant and a gym and a chapel for the staff who work there. Amazing. It's in Yangju province, and don't ask me to pronounce that. I'll try to show you pictures. I suppose I could tell you while I'm doing this that the guitar is Engelmann Spruce top, the top here. Engelmann Spruce comes from British Columbia, interestingly, so they must export it to South Korea. It's a mahogany back and sides, and it's rosewood fingerboard and bridge. Now the problem with this rosewoods, I haven't seen a rosewood that color for a while, so it must be an unusual type of rosewood. But it doesn't tell you what the neck is. I would suspect, looking at the neck, that it's mahogany too, very fine grain mahogany. Where did I leave off? There I did. Okay, now I think this neck is dirty. It looks dirty. So I'm going to give it a really good splish splash wash and a scrub, because the dots don't even look white on it. So this will tell the tale whether it needs to be given a third coat or not. A third washing. No, that's brown coming out, so that should be okay. But what I'm going to do, even though I say it should be okay, I'm just going to give it another wash, not into the frets, just get the board another wash. 12-string guitars are hard work because you got to tune them every time you play them. No matter how good your 12-string is, it's just to be tuned, because 12 strings, the neck stretches and all sorts of things. So they tend to be, a lot of people buy 12-string because they love the sound, but they don't keep playing it. It ends up as a wall hanger. And I got a feeling this is not much different because the frets aren't worn and it's hardly seen any use, this guitar. Very nice guitar, very nice. But it usually ends up as a wall hanger because it's just hard to keep in service. Tuning every time you pick it up. I had a 12-string guitar that I took with me when I worked in London for all those years, and I was doing a job that was so far different from fixing guitars you wouldn't believe it. I was managing factories across the length and breadth of England, from Cornwall to Manchester, and my 12-string guitar went with me, and it always hung up in whatever house I bought in England, but I never played it. It was a Harmony. I kept it for years, and it was in a flat in London once. It was hanging on the wall, and I was just about to go up the door, and I heard a crash, and it fell off the wall and landed on its base and smashed in the bottom of the guitar. Well, that was fixed, but if you look at my house now, almost every one of my guitars hanging up as a wall hanger. I very seldom play them. I play other people's guitars now, so it's, I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Nice tuners, those. They're crafter tuners, and they're very nice. One of them, a couple of them are loose, but that's to be expected, which I will tighten up. Not loose, damaged loose, but just loose over the years. So I like this guitar. I would like to have this guitar, but the problem is it would sit up as a wall hanger because I've got enough wall hangers. But then again, my eyes are bigger than my belly, aren't they? I'm just going to clean. It was very dirty. It's drying out quite quickly because the neck is so thirsty that the water's sinking into the neck very well. There's a bit of the boards coming off there. It's going to need a little bit of super glue, but it's going to have to be peeled back a bit before I do that, because if I glued it the way it is, it would have a lump in it. So another little job to do. Right, okay. Now I think I'm going to let that set and dry, because you can see it's changing colour and getting spotty, and I let it dry out, let the water dry out of it, and that's why I use linoleum. You just wipe it up afterwards. If you use carpet, someone commented once that I'm using linoleum, it could scratch the guitar. Theoretically they're right, but I always use a towel now because of that comment. But if you have if you use carpet like most luthiers do, there's always a chance of some little bit of steel or something might fall into the carpet. You can't see it, and then you're bringing your guitar along one day and you put a scratch in it. So I actually prefer linoleum. That's going to be a lovely looking guitar. I'm going to let that dry now. Okay. This is the Crimson High Build Guitar Finishing Oil. Again, I just repeat myself because some people might be watching this for the first time. That this is not meant for necks. It's meant for natural wood. But Ben from Crimson Guitars said that people had used it for necks. Look at the difference in colour right away. So I'm going to put 2 or 3 coats of this on, and what you do is you put the coat on, you wait 5 minutes, and then you try to polish it all off. Then you put another coat on, you wait for 5 minutes, and you try to polish it all off. And don't leave it to dry too long. Just 5-10 minutes between coats. 20 if you're glutton for punishment. But that looks super, doesn't it? compared to what it was previously, the dried wood. Really nice. Why are you putting that funny voice on, Austin? There you go. Now come back in 15 minutes time. Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Just like me. So there's very little to polish off because it's very much soaked in because the neck is so dry. But I'm going to take it off anyway and put another coat on. Well, I'm going to try to take off what I put on and then put another coat on. Not far from rich. Just bought myself a brand new computer to do the videos, and it's a miracle. I had a Mac Mini before, a 2018 one. It was a very nice one, but this is a Mac Studio Pro, and it cost me just over £2,000 just for the computer. Am I repeating myself if I told you this before? But it cost just over £2,000 for the computer itself, not the screen, not the mouse, not the keyboard, just the box. And so it's not something I needed. I could be repeating myself. It's not something I needed, but it's something I wanted. And you know something, when it sits on my desk and is purring away there and doing the job 10 times faster than my old computer, it feels okay. It feels okay. So, okay, another 15 minutes and I'll come back again. Okay, the last time, and I'm going to use a cloth to polish it off, because the tissues will just rip up whenever you go to polish, and this is just an easier way to do it. Doesn't make any difference to the final finish, but it just makes it easier for you to do it. That looks super duper now. You may need to do another polish off because sometimes it seeps up and out, but that's okay. That doesn't take long to do. Just a little bit of a rub. Now, I polished the guitar because when I was doing the bridge, you know, you get some of this stuff on the guitar and it's difficult to take off. It's not impossible, you just have to keep rubbing with tissues and tissues. But in this instance I got a little bit lazy and used a little bit of white spirit on a tissue and it just took it straight off. So it's not that hard to take off, but you'd be chasing the smears around the guitar for half an hour if you hadn't done that. So I took a little bit of white spirit, where are we, and just rubbed it, and it's all beautiful now. It's all no problem at all. So that, give it another little rub, make sure it's all off, and I'll show you a close-up with the other camera and show you it's got the exact effect that I want. A couple of little spots coming up through again, but that's not a problem. That'll go away once you polish it. Where's my phone? Where's my phony phone? Right, okay. Right. Video. That's the effect I want, just a tiny shine, and we'll have to go across it again because there will be little bits coming up from it there. You can just see little sheeny parts there. Let me just see if I can point out one in particular. No, I don't see anything in particular. Well, there's, you see that little shiny thing there? That's just a little bit of the oil that I haven't polished up off yet, and that won't make any difference, but it does come up through, but it'll polish off. Right, I'm going to pause because I'm going to prepare something for this. I don't know what. I think Welsh people say, "What a palaver, what a palaver." I ended up using double-sided tape, but I know it's not the best quality double-sided tape, so I put a clamp on, holding it a little bit to try to straighten it out. And so we're going to have to wait to see how it works. But that was... I tried to buy good quality double-sided tape, and they sold me stuff that says good quality, but it doesn't. It's not, you know, 3M. 3M I needed to find. Alright, thank you. See you later. Oh, these little things are so annoying. This hasn't worked. It's still sitting loose and up. So I'm going to take this tape off. So what I'm going to do, I can't move it any further back. That's it. That's it. I'm just going to clean this, check these for tightness. Next thing to do is get this. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It's going to make this messy, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to put some graphite in there. After I've broken the pencil nib. I haven't sharpened a pencil in years. There you go, and the strings will hide the rest of it. Okay, now we're going to get the strings on. I'll do that and come back to you when I've finished putting the strings on. Well, I tried cleaning that with polish, but I think it's stained that way because the nut's identical. So I've cleaned it up because it was sticking before, do you remember? I've cleaned it up, did a bit of sanding on it to get it right. I'm putting the shims back in again. I may not need to put the shims back in again, but I'm going to put the shims back in again because the action of this guitar was very good when I got it, so there's no point in me playing with it. So now that's in nice and tight. I'm going to put the strings on. Exciting stuff! "12-string guitar strings." The problem with 12-string guitar strings is there's 12 of them. No, you want attention, right? Oh, Georgie girl wants attention. Now somebody invent a self-stringing 12-string guitar. It'd be also nice if they invented a self-tuning 12-string guitar and a self-intonating 12-string guitar. Nothing more tedious than stringing a guitar and then having to string it twice and then having to tune it and then having to tune it 5 or 6 times. You can get electronic tuners, but I think you can get electronic tuners that you can hold in your hand. No, I don't think I'm that wasteful. Alright, okay. I'm going to tune this up. Now I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm not going to torture you. Now that's it in tune. When it goes on its side and everything, it'll have to be retuned. But I still have this little thing to do here. You can actually just see it in the light there, can't you? Let me just see if that helps. Can you see the little red marks? I have to take them off. And hopefully they'll come off with a little bit of white spirit. But we'll soon find out. I got a feeling it was something in the bag. that the this was being carried in, stuck to the back. I don't worry about too much about taking it off, because I think it'll come off fairly easy. Yeah, something red. Don't want to scratch it, so it's all over the back. So it's me sitting on something that rubbery, which has come off. Yeah, there you go. That's it, almost all off. That's a beautiful piece of wood. Something feels a bit rough there. Yeah, beautiful piece of wood. It's not round the sides, so it must have been sitting in a case for a long time. Okay. And the next thing you're going to see is it's sitting on my knee. It's not a blonde, unfortunately. Well, it's a blonde wood, I suppose, you know. But I prefer Georgia girl sitting on my knee, thank you, than a blonde. Too much trouble, women. Sorry if there's any women watching, but I'm an old man and they're all too much trouble for me. Now, I think that is one beautiful guitar, and it's very well built, superbly built. It's probably one of the prettiest acoustics I've seen for a while. Just take that off to let you see. Look at the way that's built. Beautiful, all round, gorgeous guitar. I'm not surprised that Peter Green bought one of these. I could tell you about my life. Look at that there. That is stunning, isn't it? That is really stunning. And the neck and the crafter tuners are lovely tuners. So there's not a thing wrong with this guitar. And I'm going to put it in tune now, which is going to take a second. So I'm going to pause you. Right. That is lovely in tune now. And listen to the sound of that. It's a beautiful tone of it. Ain't that nice? Eh? It's still in tune too. It's staying in tune fairly well. I'm just going to quickly run through it. Right, so there you go. It's it really is a superb sounding guitar. I just love the sound of it. You know, this is with John Denver, isn't it? Special. You build up my. That's as far as I'm going to go. Because I can't sing in that key. Let me just check again the tuning. Now, I love a 12-string. I love a 12-string guitar, but I hate having to tune it. Now, when I've done this, I'm looking at the action. The action is really, really good, but I could have taken away two of those shims underneath the saddle and I got a better action. But I don't know an awful lot of people who play 12-string guitar up here a lot, because you're pressing 12 strings down to get a bar chord. So the first 5 frets are all perfect. Now you could bring it, it actually isn't very good action. If you look at that action there, that is very good, but you could bring it down a little bit more, especially with the pressure you have to put on the strings, you know. Okay, before I play my favorite tune, my favorite chord, remember last week? Remember the test I set you? When nobody said down below what it was. I remember you. You're the one that made my dream come true. Did you know I love you? So it was a Frank Ifield and I Remember You. Those are two chords you should know. Maybe it's before your time. I'm an old creature. Now, quick run through to let you hear my favorite chord again. Right, tuning's fine. So my favorite chords progression. Do you remember where that comes from? Hey, have you ever tried really reaching out for the other side? And if you're wondering what this song